this is what I would wish from people that value liberty and understand the importance of the ability, the freedom, if you will, to own weaponry, arms. See, oftentimes, you've heard me say this many times before, we're on the defense. And by I mean the people that are on the side of people having the liberty to own guns, okay? Always on the defense, right? So, tragic situation happens. Tragic event, a shooting of some sort, whatever it is, it happens. And then the left does what you expect the left to do. They start trying to use that tragic event. They would dance on the dead bodies of fucking kids and children to try to then push forth whatever legislation. Let's say that then criminalizes, let's call it what it is. It criminalizes people that own weapons already. So in this case, let's say as of recently, they're still trying to go and get rid of the AR-15. Effectively criminalizing millions upon millions of people in the event, let's say, some of these legislation were out there. Or they want to make it to where you have to jump through all sorts of hoops in the event that you want to own something like that. Because, and this is what I'm going to be completely honest, I do think that those people are forward thinkers. They understand that less armed people means more, or rather less, let's say, that pushback. Look, it sounds uncomfortable to talk about, but that's what it is. Y'all's beloved Second Amendment was not something that was thought up or conjured up by your beloved founding fathers to fucking hunt wildlife and shit. That wasn't what this was, okay? The reality is that the government is a territorial monopoly on use of force, violence, and ultimate decision making. And when that shit is used, as it always is, but to a certain degree of basically inflicting violence upon their own citizenry, it is going to be then up to the citizens to defend themselves from that said aggression. So it would, let's say, leftists would like nothing more, the authoritarian left would like nothing more for their ability to impose their will on the populace to be done far more easily than what it is done now. And that will require them to disarm, let's call it what it is, disarm people and criminalize them. So I believe the whole, well, what about my children and all, that's just a front. This is them using this as an advantageous sort of situation and wanting to push for whatever. The problem is that the other side has become so reactionary that all they do is react upon what the authoritarian left does. So big shout out to my man's Andrew, who's part of my team. You have Donald Bayer, a Virginia Democrat. He's seeking to introduce 1,000% tax on what they deem as assault weapons. And there's various other forms of legislation that they want to put out there to either completely criminalize you or make it extremely difficult for you to own certain types of weaponry. Okay. Our side become a reactionary has been a mistake, because all we're doing is trying to feign off their acts of aggression. When what we need to be doing is getting on the offense for once and actually looking to, let's say, repeal certain laws that are already on the books. Your beloved Second Amendment has already been tread upon. National Firearms Act, various other national, federal, criminalization, certain guns that can't be fucking owned. It's bullshit. But they exist, okay? And why aren't we really why are we controlling the conversation? This is something that's supposed to be very important to us, but we don't control the conversation. The left does. A lot of these gun organizations, really are the same thing. They're reacting. Hell, a lot of the milquetoast kind of reaching across the aisle type of stuff, NRA participated in a lot of that over the last decades. A lot of some of the regulations that you got in regards to gun laws that exist right now are facilitated by the NRA. See, they're too chicken shit for me. I always have been. See, my thing is getting on the offense requires repealing of these And why can't we get in control of the conversation since it's something that we value? Instead of allowing them to control the conversation and we say, well, basically you're operating as if what exists on the books right now is okay. This is why I hate, even they control the language. How many times, like, we talk about stuff that is already illegal, for example, so easily, right? And we just accept that as a reality when instead of looking at it, wait a minute, why is that illegal? Why is there already hoops that you have to jump through? Why is this these national background checks that are basically facilitated by government's agents? Wait a minute, why are those even a thing? See, if we wanted what we wanted and we actually were consistent on that issue, we wouldn't be on the defense, we'd be on offense and trying to get rid of these laws, forcing them to have to get on the defense for once in their fucking lives. They don't want that, of course, but I would encourage you guys to actually look into these conservatives, a lot of them that pay lip service to the gun rights or whatever you want to call them. Actually listen to what it is they say. Listen to them. Are they really? Because they're always talking about reaching across the aisle. What are we needing to there's no compromise to be made here. If you actually consistently value gun rights, there's no compromise to be made. There's nothing to talk about at all. It's like, hey, fuck off. We're not going to disarm the populace just to try to coddle your little emotions. That's not how we do. We know you're not even just to mention that it doesn't work. But the fact that extending it to its logical conclusion.
If what's happening with your child's education isn't good enough, if you want to see that spark in your child again, you can.
If the government have it, we should have it. The fact that they don't, it is dangerous. Talk about, they have all these resources. How many times you heard these damn leftists say that? Well, they got all these resources, so in the event that they just basically blackpilled, in the event that they decided to attack you, you couldn't do anything about it. I'm laughing in Vietnamese rice farmer. I'm laughing in the motherfucking Middle Easterns that wear rags and sandals and shit with outdated equipment that now have control of your fucking equipment that whooped y'all's ass in an area that y'all been involved in for fucking 20 years. Actually more than that, but you get what it is that I'm saying. And they got you the fuck up out of there and now they control the area effectively. What you talking about? See, that is a government and those that act on their behalf wanting a populace of people that not only have to rely upon them, but also in the event that they decide to really ramp things up, you can't do anything about it. That's what they ultimately want. And every given tragic situation is just another way for them to convince the populace, because they're stupid, to then advocate for exactly whatever new thing it is. But we always move closer and closer to what they want and never further to what we want. And what we want, again, those that are consistent on this issue, is not simply to defend or exist the laws that exist that already are there that criminalize folks for having certain type of guns. No. If it were up to us and we had our way and we actually got what it is that we wanted, those laws wouldn't exist. They're not there to be defended. Fuck referring to the National Firearms Act. How about we get rid of the goddamn NFA? You just listened to a clip